open letter has over 100,000 signatures showing just how many cisgender women stand in support of the trans plus community.
I'm actually a clinical psychologist by background. I'm also a novelist, and my wife is transgender. Ultimately, the joy that came with sort of joining these communities of queer people and seeing the love and support and authenticity and creativity of these communities and the narratives that we were seeing in the media and from politicians. And there were so many people speaking against trans people that I just had a sense that there was really something missing, that there was a voice missing, that there were, so many people had been so supportive of me and Ellie that we just knew there were people who didn't feel that way. And it wasn't a case of trans people fighting a fight and then people fighting against trans rights, but there were a whole group of cisgender people, in particular women, who just had no problem with the trans community and had trans friends or loved ones, or just a bit like you're saying, Jackie, just felt that something was off in these narratives. I think there was definitely certain narratives that were so dominant in the discourse that trans rights were somehow in conflict with women's rights or even a threat to women and their rights, and that you had to protect women by pushing back against trans inclusion. And then we're not focusing on the actual issues that impact women. So rife misogyny and sexism and gender equality and patriarchal structures that keep the limits on what women can do and what women can be, and the real sources of violence and abuse of women, which is not trans people. It's men who abuse their power, and it's the systems around those men that perpetuate and allow that. When you focus on headlines that generate anger and fear, as we know, we talk about this in so many areas, that's what drives clicks.
People are scared of things that are different, that they don't understand. And if you fuel that, then it allows people to focus on that. And again, that is a strategy, isn't it? It's a very purposeful strategy that's used.
I know when I heard the Supreme Court ruling and saw the headlines that it was a victory for women, for me personally, that struck in my heart. And I was really saddened, but also I was very angry because I did feel like not in my name, because I don't believe that. I don't believe it was a victory at all, actually.
And yes, thank you for making this clear, and thank you for giving us a place where we can stand up and say this. Like, people just want to say, we like trans people. Like, can we just say that, please? We like trans people. We want to hang out with them. But it's like, yeah, like, this is basically like our vision of the world. Like, just having a nice time with, and people being themselves and feeling free and happy.
We actually hit it on the day of the anniversary of the Supreme Court ruling. I'm going to get all emotional about it because I remember sitting at my kitchen table going, I've really got work to do, but I'm just here refreshing the page, and everybody was in the chat because it was like we could not have planned that if we tried it.
Trans rights were in a better position under the Conservative government under Theresa May than they are now. And where trans rights are in the UK now is probably around about where they are in the US. So if you look at the US and think what's happening to trans people in the US under Trump looks terrible, you just need to understand that it's pretty much the same as what's happening here. Just sign the letter, forget about it, move on, get on with the rest of your life, but your signature counts and it all adds up and it's helpful. It's not about telling people that they're right or wrong. It's just about maybe just sharing that, just dropping the fact that you support trans people into the conversation. And it doesn't have to be a big debate. It can just be, oh yeah, I signed a letter about trans inclusion. I did that the other day, or whatever. So just gently having these kind of in-person, on-the-ground conversations. And if it's getting heated, back off, because we do not want to polarize people.
I think it's about people being kinder and more open and curious about the world and about the people in it, and to expect and to see the best in others. I just think we're not very good at that.
Emotions like anger and rage and grievance and spite and othering of people can feel very powerful and empowering and galvanizing in a lot of ways, but ultimately it's so corrosive